that is here now in the preparation has a huge desire to connect between us and with the greater. Every friend wants to strengthen the other friends, to support them, to give them confidence and a spirit of life, so that in the connection between us we will achieve one more degree of change and perfection and get a bit closer to the greater. So in this preparation, let us focus our forces, our intentions, and let's aim that we will prepare ourselves in the optimal manner for a lesson. In the lesson we will be able to absorb from the Kabbalist, from the sources, as many forces as possible, and reforming light through the connection between the friends through the force of our vote, so that we be able to give contentment to the Creator, should try to bring into the society a spirit of life and hopefulness, and infuse energy into the society. Thus, each of the friends will be able to tell himself, now I'm starting a clean slate in the work. In other words, before he came to the society, he was disappointed with the progress and the work of the Creator, but now the society has filled him with life and hopefulness. Through the society he obtained the confidence and strength to overcome, because now he feels that he can achieve wholeness, and all his thoughts that he was facing a high mountain that could not be conquered, and that these were truly formidable obstructions. Now he feels there are nothing, and he received it all from the heart of the society, because each and every one tried to instill a spirit of encouragement in the presence of a new atmosphere in the society. Again, each one should try to bring into the society spirit of life and hopefulness, and infuse energy into the society. Thus each of the friends will be able to tell himself, now I'm starting a clean slate in the work. In other words, before he came to the society he was disappointed with the progress and the work of the Creator, but now the society has filled him with life and hopefulness. Through the society he obtained the confidence and strength to overcome, because now he feels that he can achieve wholeness, and all his thoughts that he was facing a high mountain that could not be conquered, and that these were truly formidable obstructions. Now he feels that they are nothing, and he received it all from the power of the society, because each and everyone tried to instill a spirit of encouragement and the presence of a new atmosphere in the society. Let's discuss in an active workshop. Let's bring into the 10A spirit of life and hopefulness in order to start a clean slate in our work again. An active workshop question. Let's bring into the 10 a spirit of life and hopefulness in order to start a clean slate in our work. We're in new day, new lesson. We need to see realities. New thing, there is nothing now, and we're starting. It doesn't matter what already went through. We are you want to now start on the right foot, just to go together as one men and one heart, and we want to use this lesson to reach the highest degree we can reach. Together we have all the tools and the direction and the forces you can obtain in the wisdom. Oh, full you can certainly do it. Now we should pay attention that thousands of our friends of people all over the world are gathering and connecting, and they want to awaken, to draw the light and pass it on to the whole world. And actually the Creator is gathering us, and He's happy that we're here connected and yearning and alert, and this is truly a great privilege. Every day is a new day, new awakening after yesterday's gathering that left us with the impression, and we got correlated in one another for better, for worse, but we're together today. We gather for a new connection, which day a new connection has flavour, its colour, and together we're going to generate the importance of the lesson, importance of the goal throughout the lesson. We connect, and we'll be grateful for having our mutual channel of communication to the Creator. It's not something to be for granted, never something to be taken for granted. Getting impressed and excited, and I see and connected other members of the present person rises from his sleep. He says thank you, so it brings a spirit of life and hopefulness, and that's how we start a new every single time plan. Yeah, I felt that way as soon as all the cameras went on E. You know I write every now and then he calls somebody a nut. Nikia has been trying to explain to us about her A. Nut. I love the word nut. Dick, of course, he was trying to explain that today I messaged her I was born a nutnik, and I don't want to do that in front of Rev. I never hear you asking the same questions over and over. Patricia, no, you're no. And why ask my mother? The E. Shish, the essence of the assembly is for everyone to be in one unity and for all to seek but one purpose, to find the Creator in every 10 there is. The clearly, if there are more than 10, then there is more revelation of the th. Each one should assemble with his friend and come to him to hear from him a word about the work of the Creator and how to find the Creator. He should anal before his friend, and his friend should do the same toward him, and so should everyone do. Then when the assembly is with the intention, with this intention, then more than the cough wants to suckle, the cow wants to nurse, and the Creator approaches them, and he's with them. Mercies and good and revealed kindness will be extended over the assembly of Israel. The essence of the assembly is for everyone to be in one unity and for all to seek but one purpose, to find the Creator in every 10 there is. The clearly, if there are more than 10, then there is more revelation of the th. Each one should assemble with his friend and come to him to hear from him a word about the work of the Creator and how to find the Creator. Should anno before his friend, and his friend should do the same toward him, and so should everyone do. Then when the assembly is with this intention, that more than the cough wants to suckle, the sea wants to nurse, and the Creator approaches them, and he's with them, and great mercies and good and revealed kindness will be extended over the assembly of Israel. And now, silent workshop, let's enter a connection in one heart and feel the Creator. There, let's enter a connection in one heart and feel the Creator. There, the A. O. Hell, we reading from the writings Ophel Hassalam, letter 17. You can find the study materials in our websites and you can also ask questions live through our websites. Letter 17 by Ban, the year of 1925. Yes, let me write to you with regard to the middle pillar in a work of God, so it's to always be a target for you between right and left. This is because there is one who walks who is worse than one who sits idly. It is one who deflects from the road, for the path of truth is a very thin line that one walks on until one comes to the king's palace. One who begins to walk in the beginning of the line needs great care so as not to deviate to the right or to the left of the line even as much as a hair bread, for if at first the deviation is as a hair bread, even if later one continues completely straight, it is certain that he will no longer come to the king's palace, as he's not stepping on the true line. Like this, for example, this is a true comparison. Let me explain to you the meaning of the middle pillar, which is the meaning of the Torah. The Creator and Israel are one. The purpose of the soul when it comes in the body is to be rewarded with returning to its root and with adhesion with him while clothed in the body, as it is written, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways and to keep his commandments and to adhere to him. You see that the matter ends with to adhere to him, meaning as it was prior to clothing in the body. However, great preparation is required, which is to walk in all his ways. Yet who knows the ways of the Creator? Indeed, this is the meaning of the Torah that has 613 ways. One who walks on them will finally be purified until his body no longer forms an iron partition between him and his Maker, as it is written, and I will take away the stony heart from your flesh. Then he will adhere to his Maker just as he was before the clothing of the soul in the body. It turns out that there are three discernments. One, Israel, who is the one who exerts to return to his root, to the Creator, who is the root one longs for. 3, the 613 ways of the Torah by which one refines one's soul and body. This is the spice, as it is written, I have created the evil inclination I've created for it the Torah as a spice. However, these three are actually one and the same in the end. Any servant of the Creator attains them as one unique and unify discernment, and they only appear to be divided into three because of one's completeness in the work of the Creator. Let me clarify something too. You shall see its tip, but not its entirety, except when he delivers you. It is known that the soul is a part of God above before it comes in a body. It is adhered as a branch to the root. See, in the beginning of the tree of life that he, the Creator, created the world because he wanted to manifest his holy names, merciful and gracious, etc. And if there are no created beings, there would be no one on which to have mercy. These words are very deep indeed. However, as much as the 10 permits, as the whole Torah is the names of the Creator, as they said, the meaning of attainment is that which we do not attain. We do not define by a name. It is written in the books that all these names are the reward of the souls, which is compelled to come into the body, for it is precisely through the body that it can attain the names of the Creator. Its stature is according to its attainment. There is a rule: the substance of any spiritual thing is according to the merit of knowing of its knowing. A corporeal animal feels itself because it consists of mind and matter. Thus, a spiritual sensation is a known discernment. The spiritual stature is measured by the value of what is known, as it is written, one is praised according to one's mind. However, the animal knows, but it does not feel at all understand the reward of the souls before soul comes into the body. It is a tiny dot, although so it is attached to the root as a branch to of a tree. This dot is called the root of the soul, and its world, had it not entered into this world in a body, it would have only its own world, meaning its own part in the root. However, the more it is rewarded with walking in the ways of the Creator, which are the 613 ways of the Torah that return to being the actual names of the Creator, the more its stature grows according to the level of the names it has attained. This is the meaning of the words the Creator imparts. Each and every righteous 310 words. Interpretation: the soul consists of two, righteous and upper righteous, and a lower righteous, as the body is divided from the tabernacle up and from the taber down. Thus it is rewarded with the written Torah and the oral Torah, which are 310, which is 620 in Gatria. These are the 613 Mitivi commandments of the Torah, and the 7 Mitivi, the Ranan of our great teachers. It is written in the tree of life, the worlds were created only to disclose the names of the Creator. Thus you see that since the soul came down to clove in this filthy substance, it could no longer return and adhere to its root, to its own world, as before it came to, as it was in its root before it came to this world. Rather, it must increase its stature 620 times, and as it previously was in the root. This is the meaning of the entire perfection, the entire up to, for which reason is called, implying the number 620k is 620 in Gatri in Hebrew. Thus you see that the meaning of the 620 names, which are the 63 Mitivi of the Torah and the 7 Mitivi, they are in fact the 5 qualities of the soul. Meaning this is because the vessels of the N are from the above 620 Mitivi, and the lights of Narai are the very light of the Torah. In each and every mitzvah commandment, it follows that the Torah and the soul are one. However, the Creator is the light of ins, clothed in the light of the Torah, which is found in the above 620 mitzvot. Understand that thoroughly, for this is the meaning of the words of our sages. The whole Torah is the names of the Creator. It means that the Creator is the whole, and the 620 names are parts and elements. These elements are according to the degrees and steps of the soul that does not acquire its light at once, but gradually, one at a time. From all the above you find that the soul is destined to acquire all 620 holy names. Its entire stature which is 620 times more than it had before it came. Its stature appears in the 620 mitzvot, where the light of the in which the light of the Torah is clothed, and the Creator is the collective light of the Torah. You see that the Torah, the Creator, and Israel are indeed one. Examine these words carefully, as they require only a simple explanation. It is about that they said, I shall not explain the literal. Then you shall be happy if you understand what it is before you. Let us return to the issue that before the completeness in the work of the Creator, the Torah, the Creator, and Israel appear as free discernments. At times one wishes to complete one's soul and bring it back to its root, which is considered Israel. At times one wishes to perceive the ways of the Creator and the secrets of the Torah. For he who does not know the commandments of his master, how will he serve him? This is considered Torah. Sometimes one wishes to attain the Creator, meaning to adhere to him with complete perception. One essentially regrets only this: it does not agonize so much over attaining the secrets of the Torah. Also, he does not agonize over returning his soul to its root as it was prior to clothing in a body. Hence, ones who walk on the true line of preparing for the work of the Creator must always test himself to see if he wants the three above discernments completely, equally as the end of the act equalizes with its beginning. If one wants only one of them more than the second or the third, when one strays from the path of truth, thus you would better hold on to the goal of yearning for the commandment of the Master. For he who does not know the ways of his Master and the commandments of his Master, which are the secrets of the Torah, how will he serve him among all three? This is what guarantees the middle line most. This is the meaning of open for me one aperture of repentance, such as the tip of a needle, and I will open for you gates where carts and coaches enter. Interpretation: the eye of the needle is not for entry and exit, but to insert the thread for sewing and for work. Similarly, you should crave only the commandment of your Master to work, and then I will open for you a door, such as an entry to a hall. This is the meaning of the explicit name in the verse, but indeed in Hebrew spelled like hall. I live, and the glory of the Lord shall have all the earth. Why, I'm certain everyone here has read it, heard it several times already. Questions? No questions. Just that if I can understand simply, there is the goal, there is the one who yearns for the goal, and there is the means to get to this goal. Yes, how do all three become one? In what way do all three become one? You combine these things by yourself. Israel is you, all is what is revealed to you along the way, and Creator is what you reach, what you attain each time. So until I reach it and achieve it in full, what does it mean to connect these three? That's how you portray it to yourself. If you constantly go in connection with them, then you reach their goal. Let's say inside of this we include the 10 is a part of Israel, or it's part of their Torah. Do we see the Creator behind the 10? Where is the 10 inside these three? There 10 to maintain this law. Israel, the Creator are one, then it advances, and this attainment are constantly as they unify. More so, we should see how should we see ourselves as part of Israel? Is Israel all of us or an individual person? No, you speak of specific 10 in working the 10. The working the 10 should be that all we, let's say we are in 110. We yearn to reveal the stages of our development from between us to the Creator more, and the steps that we take to as the holy names, what we need to attain along the way until we, well, each time the Creator is revealed more and more. So a person should detect both Israel and the Torah and the Creator in the 10. The T is inside, of course, a person is incorporated in the T, so it's not just between him and the Creator, but between him as a part of the 10 and the Creator. No, of course, is the Torah. Creator are one is when a person is incorporated in his 10, and then they observe between them the conditions of their Torah, and the Torah connects them and accompanies them until will they attain the Creator can know. No, he writes, open for me an aperture for repentance like the tip of a needle, and I will open for you opening such that cards and coaches may enter in terms of the Creator from the perspective of the Creator. What is this small opening? When we wish to reach him, and we raise man to him a deficiency, because we want to attain him, so he will dwell among us. What are the conditions that we have to keep so that there will be this small opening? Because we have a very big desire to get there, to reach it. So what is a small opening from the perspective of the Creator? This small opening is when we become connected, and in our connection we wish to build, to construct a place suitable for our Creator. And in order to reach this congruence, is it enough according to right here, even the smallest match there is, and then he gives according to what it says here in no in and und, disproportionate way according compared to what we do. Yes, it's like what we learn from the wisdom of Kabbalah when we raise M and he lowers mud, and the difference between mud and mud is very big. We raise deficiencies, and from above he lowers to us. And this opening, what you talked about, should be a prayer from the 10A request. It should be a request of the 10. In the same voice, the 10 has to reach such synchronization that it will come out as one voice, and only that voice can open this small aperture. Yes. I'd like to continue. Gatti gives us a warning in the beginning of the article. He tells us that anyone who starts to walk in the beginning of the line needs great care. So it's not to deviate to the right of the line or to the left of the line, even as much as a hair's breadth. For if at first deviation is a hair's breadth, even if one later continues completely straight, etc. What is this warning? How do we keep in our work all the time that we will be walk, that we walk on that straight line? Is to the Creator. These three conditions need to combine into one in order to be properly aimed at the purpose of creation. How each day do we perform this act each day? And you said before that actually, and it's also written here, we have to study the Torah, and the Torah always gives us guidelines how to work. How indeed every day anew do we truly pass on to each other this intention, so that we're always in the right direction. Like you said before, a place that is suitable for the Creator. What does it mean, a place that is suitable for the Creator? When we're all connected and each one cares about everyone. This means that we constantly care to be as much as possible similar to the root. Yes, from the connection between us to reach the root. That's it. He says that who starts to walk in the beginning of the line needs great care. So it's not to deviate to the right of the line or to the left. What does the line begin? What is the beginning of the line? From the moment you wish to reach the purpose of creation, from that moment on you are taking upon yourself these conditions. Israel, the Torah, the Creator are one when you commit to keeping it on each and every step. Because sometimes we feel like each time the line disappears and you have to start it from the beginning. It's possible. Yes, thanks. I'd like to scrutinize these three conditions. He writes, sometimes one yearns to complete his soul and bring it back to his root. What is this yearning? We want to reach the center of creation, the root of creation, the Creator, because later he says that the Creator is when he earns to attain the Creator. So what's the difference between these two? Yes, well, the Creator is the center of creation, and this and the Creator is the one who passes to us all of his laws, over which we advance to him. So his laws, as I understand from here, yes, this is the Torah, the parts here which are different, difficult to distinguish between, but nevertheless so that later on we can, as he says, test ourselves that we're keeping all free equally and trying to understand it better. Maybe we should read it. Sometimes one wishes to complete his soul and bring it back to its root, which is Israel. Sometimes he wants to understand the ways of the Creator and the secrets of the Torah. For one who does not know the commandments of his master, how will he serve him? This is considered Torah. Sometimes one wishes to reign the Creator, meaning to adhere to him with complete perception. So how can we understand these three parts? Understand them one by 1. How this inclination inside of us, or these 3 inclinations, how can we detect them? Because I think this is the primary part of this whole thing. How do we detect these 3 parts? Think about, then scrutinize in what way they're found in me, and how can I develop them? And they should be in me as one work, one goal for the sake of things. Let's say that I understand what is the Torah, and I also want to study and understand how I want to work for the Creator. But what does it mean that one wants to complete his soul? Why is this separated from the other things? Why is it a separate part? There are several parts, and this is one part of them. So how can we understand what is that quality of Israel that one wants to complete his soul? What does it mean? What kind of a feeling is it? What what is Israel in a person? Israel is what yearns to return to its root, and then he needs to separate him and nurture it, nourish it, care for it, meaning there's a party in a person that wants to return to the Creator, return to its root, the place from which he was born and was differentiated, and he comes there now to sustain himself. Okay, and the difference between this and adhering to the Creator, which is what he calls the Creator here. Why is there a difference between these 2? Between Israel and the Creator, there is a difference between the 2, because it's something that does not depend on a person like Israel, for example, or the Torah person who increases in him the Creator by that he advances himself toward the goal. Okay, thank you, Rob. In the last 2 paragraphs he writes, thus you better hold the goal of yearning for the commandment of the Master, for he who does not know the ways of his Master and the commandments of his Master, which are the secrets of the Torah, how will he serve him that he has that among all 3? This is what guarantees the middle line of the average line. The most, so says this thing called the commandments of his Master is what helps him hold on to all 3 of the midline between. So what does it mean, the commandments of the Master, and to hold on to the commandments of his Master? Israel, Creator 1, he wants to hold on to it, and by gripping to this and adding the force of scrutiny as he advances, he moves forward. It moves toward contact with the Creator, becoming like him each time more and more. And if one doesn't know how to scrutinize the difference between the free, or unite the free Israel, the Torah, and the Creator as one, if he doesn't know how to unite them, then, if not, then he needs to take additional actions to raise him to pray, meaning to connect with society, to yearn for its root. Yes, that's our path. Okay, the action that turns Israel, the Torah, and the Creator into one. It's the path itself. That's how it puts together these 3 discernments into one. What in the way itself turns these 3 into one? Because the light appears from above. This light works on Israel and on its actions, called the light, and that's how it come to identify each time the Creator more and more. And what do I do on my side so this thing would become one? So these 3 qualities would become one. You want them to become one in your efforts. And why is it that sometimes I see things sometimes I see them that way in order to unify them? This is our constant ongoing process. Even after the unification, I'll sometimes see it this way or that way. Yes, okay. Thanks. He writes that before the soul comes into the body, it was as a tiny dot, adhered to its root as a branch is attached to the tree. What is that state of the soul before it comes to a body? What does it even mean that it comes into a body? It connects in the desires, in the 613 desires of a person. What is a soul without a body? What is a soul? Because there a will receive. What is a soul? We do not attain a soul without a body. We be attained only when it's in their body. How should we depict to ourselves that it was a tiny dot? What happened to it? It was a tiny dot before it started to develop through the actions of the environment. And when a person unifies his actions with the light that the soul has to attain in this way, he advances, he adhere to it more and more. Now, when we are in a 10, I have 10 friends. How should I depict a friend is It what an organ of the soul. Or how should I depict the friends? Correctly try to do it, you need to reveal all those things, but is it correct to say let's say that the friends are organs of my soul? You can say it for now, because when we connect the friends, what does it do with respect to what he writes here about the soul before it comes into the body, and then when it comes back to connect with the Creator and attain his names? How is it related to the fact that we're constantly in an effort in a process of connecting the friends in the it attains the entire coarseness and the entire CLE? We can say as far as she's considered it's all connected to her, and that's how she returns to the Creator as a CLE is a vessel of reception. Ken every spiritual thing is a substance. Sustenance an animal feels itself as that it consists of mind and matter. It follows that a spiritual sensation is a well-known discernment, and the stature is according to the stature of the knowing, as it is written. One is faced according to its intellect, but an animal knows, but doesn't feel. Understand this thoroughly. I don't understand it. He writes that an animal knows, but doesn't feel. What does it mean? Because it lacks discernment, it doesn't attain it, doesn't explore, investigate, and discovers that he feels, because it's the will to receive, and the light that fills the will to receive, according to equivalence of form. So what is it about we should attain in our feeling, in sensation? Yes, according to how much person develops his will to receive, it begins to attain which kind of light enters and fills him, and why. When is prayer according to one's mind or intellect? What does it mean here, the mind or the intellect? There is mind here and emotion. Yes. So I don't understand it. The emotion should bring an intellect, or maybe the other way around, or together. No, the mind needs to bring the feeling. Said Can that's it. Following all the scrutinies, I wanted to check something I'm not sure about it. He says that in the end every servant of the Creator attains them as one unified quality, and the fact that they seem to be divided into three is because of the incompleteness of one's work of the Creator. What does here Israel the Torah Cree one, and each one attends him this way, so each one ultimately has his own Creator. Yet what he attains is in his vessel. So when we say that the Creator is infinite, so each one takes what he attains, and each time we actually scrutinize all of these parts, what each one attains, and we try to reach something that is more whole. Or does each one have his own wholeness, each one with his own wholeness? So what does connection mean? If we keep saying connection, so how do we actually take each one whatever he receives, and connection is the increase of each person's personal vessel? Okay, I think I understand. With the help of the friends, each one enlarges his personal vessel, and inside of it he discovers the Creator. Yes, the openings that, or the wagons enter that the Creator opens, is that does that refer to vessels of pistil? Yes, qualities of pistil would be better. Is it only me who's making the change in the 613 commandments in my perception, or caused the friends to make this change without their knowledge, or according to their will? The fact that I perform a certain correction in me, which is considered that I kept a few commandments, this certainly also works on my friends. The soul attains the coarseness in the vessel. That mean that each one in the 10 feels the same discernments of the coarseness. Of course, no person attains just like the others. Each one is an individual. Well, why are we looking to discover the names of the Creator? What's the meaning of revealing his names? The attainment of the names of the Creator is the attainment that brings a person or a connection with the upper force of the whole of creation. Is the incorporation between friends something central, or you can reach the tip of the needle without corporation? One has to be connected with others, otherwise he won't have the possibility to assemble his vessel. That's it for now. Yes, where is the attainment of my wholeness? Where does it join the attainment of wholeness by the friend? You build one Vessel, that's the aspiration, but I hear from you that each one is a personal, individual. F has to reach his own creator's wholeness. It's like a one self, and I'm asking, where's the wholeness that I attain? Where does it join the wholeness of the friend when you pass through you the light from above to his vessel, and he passes to himself the upper light to your vessel. But if I'm in wholeness, what am I lacking? If you're in wholeness, you lack nothing, so why do I need the friend? Because by this you acquire an additional vessel in addition to your own. So I wasn't in wholeness, you were whole, but in relation to that you didn't feel that you were lacking anything. But now, when you're going to connect with the friend and fill him, you feel that you do have a lack. Okay, so what is the true wholeness? True wholeness is, as it says, return, O Israel, to the Lord your God. And what happens? There's no more individual vessels. I don't know, I didn't get there yet. I can't say what it is. This is what is written. Ken mourning the soul that descends to the body. Is that an individual soul or a general soul? Individual soul. So if it's individual, it should return to the state it's been before me. It was an Atesian, then it came back down to the body, and then you have to unify everything again to the root, to the state it was in before. Yes, and then it goes through a very long process of, in this world, in connection, has to attain it here. It has to grow 620 times more and then return to the truth. Yes, and that it will be exactly in the state it's been to once. Once maybe. So what's the purpose of all this? Well, the purpose of knowing the purpose of the feeling in the person's body is internality. There's no answer for that. Thank you. Read this for a long time. Used to read this letter a lot, and each time there was a question: how can a person make a mistake that's hair's breadth, and then there's no chance of reaching the goal? No chance. He's is something we shouldn't say. Nevertheless, everyone returns and reaches the purpose of creation. But what does BAM refer to? No one who never makes mistakes and never deviates. You always fall. You make detours. It could take years. You don't know how to check this, how to test. What is this? Hopelessness? No, there's no lack of hope. It's just no. Well, in short, the Creator plays exercises or tricks with us in order to enlarge our vessel so that eventually we will be similar to Him, to the intensity both in quality and quantity of the general vessel. I want to continue when he writes that the path toward the truth is a very thin line, very narrow line. What is that line? To hold these three conditions: Israel, the Torah, and the Creator is one. The same paragraph you write said even as much as a hair's breadth deviation, a person will miss the King's palace. Well, yes, so how I do you ensure there's no deviation even as a hair's breadth, as he writes, if we constantly want to advance towards the Creator from the center of the Tan, and by keeping the actions that come by, and that's it for the time being. This is how it is. Yes, but how do you maintain this trio as one all the time? When I depict myself connected to the entire vessel, and what I study and what I go through with my pen, but I constantly before them, and I want to reach with them to be as one man in one heart, to reach our equivalence of form with the Creator. I hear you as if I'm hearing them, hearing perfect the whole state I need to be in, but when I'm looking at it, my ability to be in it, I don't know how I can even be in it, except for feeling sorrow for not being able to be in it. And here he speaks about it very harshly. He will no longer come to the King's palace, like he breaks you, like even, and if you make a tiny deviation, you won't make it. So what can a person do? How can he maintain this three as one so it will always be in front of his eyes? He tries. In the end, we all get there, but can you correct the deviation? Is there a way to correct it? If we deviate from this T line, the Creator does that. The Creator eventually leads you to the King's palace, whether you like it or not. Or does it depend on the person brings you to a desire to reach the King's palace? In the end, it still depends on you to hold these three together. In the end, you pray, and he does. It's okay. It says in the first paragraph, so he won't deviate to the right of the line or to the left of it. Even as a hair is breadth are right or left, does it speak of the right and left lines? Well, not about the lines, but it speaks of the right and the left, because if, in the beginning of this deviation even as much as a hair's breadth, if he continues on a straight line, but he will no longer come to the king's palace, does he speak about one state, one day, or the entire path? This is not for us. We don't quite feel the middle line and the deviation from it. Let's advance together, and that's it. Okay, thank you. To use a thread for work to do is that wholeness, to enter this, yes, to car the commandments of the Creator, this wholeness, this thread, it's the longing that the Creator will take you and do some work on you. The beginning of the says who walks is worse than one who sits idly by. Why is one who tries to be on the path is worse than one who sits idly by? Because he moves away from the mid line that brings one to the goal. So it's better to sit idly and do nothing. No, not to begin with, but one has to check. P29. How can you detect in the T that we attain the eye of the needle, the tip of the needle, when we want to connect between us as one men in one heart? And this is the only thing that we want to reach. This is considered that we are yearning for the tip of their needle. If a person has more spiritual powers, he needs to relate to his thoughts more responsibly. Yes, certainly, Turkey. It says, therefore, one who walks on the true line in preparation for serving the Creator is must check himself in these three discernments. Because three discerns, because the end of the act equalizes the beginning. Why does it equal the beginning? Because this is all in order for the person to fully realize Israel delight and the Creator is one. So what's the work here? How come the end and the beginning are equal? It's the same. However we keep these conditions, we should keep them in the right way. Two questions about the same, except it says this is the meaning the Creator leaves for each and every righteous. 310 worlds inter. The soul consists of two righteous, upper righteous and lower righteous, as the body is divided from the tabor up and from the tabor down. What is the quality of the upper and lower righteous in us? The correction of the vessels of piston and the correction of the vessels of reception. What is the role of the tarbo in the work of the T? The tab N is the center of the body. The goof, as he explains there about the tarbo, the navel of the earth, can, yes, the stage of mutuality in the work between the upper and lower righteous. That's where it's expressed again, is mutuality in the work. What do you mean by a reciprocity? My beloved to me begins in the work of the upper righteous and the lower righteous. I don't know. Another question. Israel the Torah, the crit or one, is it expressed in Moses the loyal shepherd who clothes as in my friend and demonstrates to me the two of the next step, and by raising and growing and justifying the friend. That's my work. I take one step on the correct line. I don't know. Okay, so who else? What else do we have? Only two questions here. One question from woman. Unity, please. And which, in what way are we able to check ourselves that we did not deviate from their path? Only in the group, when you connect, and in that you feel that you are all in a single point, in a single desire. Just each one needs to let go of herself and connect with the others and adhere to the Creator. Key 1. Okay, key 1. The beginning of the article we should write to you about the quality, the middle line. Your goal will be both right and left. What does that mean? That we have to connect the right line in the left line and be on the middle line, meaning the middle line is the connection of the left line and the right line. Yes. Turkey 2. Good morning. Dear, how does one come to condition of longing for the commandments of the glory of the King, the glory of other commandments of his master, by being incorporated with the friends, and together they reach such work where what they want is only to know what the Creator wants. This is called knowing the commandments of the Master, or discovering the commandments of the Master. Next, no, there's something wrong there. Queens. He feels that the soul does not attain its owness before he learns the 613 names. What does that speak of? Its 613 plus 7, and in sum total these are the corrections that I must go over the entire receive when we say Israel, the creator of the and the Torah, when they're not connected, does mean the soul is not whole, yes, but we'll see that along the way we also have women. Latin 22. Hello dear friends. Question that if we know how to unify Israel on the quitter, but if we don't know, we have to do additional actions in raising man and praying. So the question is what additional actions we have to take. We will discover that later. In the meantime, only what is revealed to us, this is what we have to carry out, and over that we need to adhere to the Creator. Morning Ra world. 10. There are 2 commandments, 2 paragraphs here. 1. Understand the reward of the souls. Before the soul came to the body, it was a tiny point, as it was like a branch cleft to its root. Had it not entered the root of the soul, and its world had it not entered into this world, as a body would not have only its own world, meaning its own part in the root also, he says, as he advances until he purifies, and his body will not be a barrier between him and his master, as he says, and I remove the stony heart from your flesh, and he will cleave to his master, as he was prior to the clothing of the soul in the body. How does the soul adhere to the Creator when it's opposite in its qualities, but it needs to correct itself for an receiving to become receiving in order to be still, and then it doesn't form a foreign body towards the Creator, but to the contrary, it comes closer and achieves adhesion. This is all of our work. I mean this is all of our work. Yeah, but how did he let the soul cleave to him when he's only the of? How can something adhere to him that is not pure adhesion? He made a correction in the process of the development of this soul, so that it can perform a restriction and screen and reflected light, and all of the actions that it performed in receiving for itself in order to receive, etc., will all become in order to be so, and therefore following these corrections it reaches complete identification with the Creator. Another question may well the same process between these 2 paragraphs, where one would feel the adhesion in full as a point from within the root, and the other is a need to go and develop. Is this the place where the Creator shattered us in order to give us the opportunity to purify the world, to receive? Yes, thank you. If I may ask again about this rule, to hold on to it. Everything spiritual is how. What is this rule? That everything spiritual is valid by what you know of it. As much as we want to keep the spiritual laws, by that we revive them, we sustain them, we become incorporated in them, and they expand in us and fill us. What does mean the merit of knowing it? Observing the spiritual law that mean knowing it. Yes, so why doesn't he say that everything spiritual is valued by his the faith in it? There's a difference between faith and knowing, so we have to attain faith first. Faith is the found basis for development. Faith means vessels of hyzo, but vessels of reception is knowing. Yeah, but one hold on to something so exalted, yearn for the light of before a person is in the correction of faith. Why does he establish such a rule at the beginning of the path? Well, we perform the corrections at once, because the vessel was broken and everything came or started from zero, even from the opposite forms, and so, following our correction, we can truly fill the vessels completely. So the yearning has to be for knowing the Creator. Yes, how do you reconcile it with what you said in your answer before, that the purpose of the knowing is not to know? No, this is what is written, but in truth we should reach complete adhesion, and this rule, if you hold on to it, because it gives it as a solution for walking on the line, for maintaining the line. How does it maintain the walk on the line? This rule, this yearning for knowing the Creator. It's Israel, the Torah, and the Creator is one with these 3 elements. If we want to become incorporated in them, then we certainly reach the goal, the purpose of The line so this rule connects all three. Discernments yes thank you the soul is made of. 10 the resistance of the soul to connecting what eyes is add to the attainment it's the expansion of the vessels the expansion of the vessels. Because indeed, from where do we begin? We come from a tiny dot, but we have to enlarge ourselves all the way up to the Creator, to an infinite magnitude. So how do we do it? Elaborate on the connection between resistance and expansion of the vessel. It's like you see in everything. If you resist a certain person, when he has to grow, maybe he needs to contradict you or do something in order to come out of that state, meaning in order to develop his vessel and draw the light that elevates and corrects and fills the vessel. This is how it is everywhere. Okay, so their follow-up question is, the light of the Torah Creator are one. What is the Torah? Why not Israel? And the Creator is one. How to portray this? Or well, the Torah is the way to develop. I wish to unify it inside of me. So I have this simple picture, a vessel that attains the Creator. What is the well? How will you attain the Creator? By which force is, by which rules, by which steps do you get closer to Him? So right, this whole path, yes, this whole path. Thank you anyone else when we speak of the will to receive, the to receive is one, the body and the soul is one will to receive, or these are two separate systems. Know that the will to receive and the form that it wants to receive in order to, or to take on in order to bestow. When a person searches for his I, is it true to say that the root of his soul is his I? He needs to do certain work to identify with the soul. The person, I or self, is the person's I, is not the root of the soul. The I of the person is that same will to receive from which he was created, and he needs to perform corrections if he wants to achieve or to attain the root of his soul. Thank you. When I hear, and you're saying that it's not for us about some source, sir, do you mean that it's for other people, or is it for us, but not in the current stage? No, I wouldn't say that it's not for us according to all kinds of conditions, but only one condition, that we nevertheless need not to get out of the line in which we are scrutinize ourselves and our way. So not for us means that there are many questions that seemingly pull us away from the way, from the path. So only for that reason, how do you check that Israel, the Creator, that the light and the Creator are one equally, the Torah and the car one equally? How do you check it? This is what he writes. It's in the form of a longing. What are you longing for? That's you test Q7. It's written. Everything spiritual is discerned by knowing it. An animal feels itself because it consists of mind and matter. That's a spiritual sensation, is a known discernment, and the spiritual stature is measured by the value of what is known as it's certain when is praised according to one's mind. However, the animal knows, it does not feel at all. What does it mean by saying that the animal knows and does not feel at all? There's no difference in it between feeling and understanding, but rather, whatever it has, that's what it is. We are not animals or something else. Who is he speaking of? We are comprised of a mind and emotion, a desire and a future goal. See, as the coes added, so we would come to the correction and attainment of 613 of the Torah and 7 commandments of our teachers. The coarseness, yes, this is how it grows. How do you come to faith? We get it from above. Can we help one another strengthen the faith? Yes, by giving examples. What does it depend? That I will reach the faith of the Creator, will receive contentment from me. It depends on your effort, your labor, as much as you exert in order to be connected to the Creator. By that you increase your power of faith. How is individual attainment in the person beneficial to the general correction? The general correction, what do you mean by that? The end of correction, because B. Wright says the greatest distance was in the beginning of creation, but later it's a correction of creation and bringing everything closer. Yes, so individual attainment, how does individual attainment of each one beneficial to the correction in what I, let's say an individual soul attained its individual correction, so then to some extent it was already closer to the Creator and adhere to it as a deity that has corrected corrected itself. Yes, and it ends, that's its role ends. There. I don't know we'll get there, and we'll see. I don't think so mean by doing the individual correction. This work is still not done has additions. Yes, we'll get there, and we will see. Yes. Sir, I didn't understand the answer. The advice from before, what is it? In what is tendency or on the highway on? In an intersection, so what are you doing? Here I don't understand you. You're talking in hints and cigarettes. If you are already diverting, you're not going to get to the goal, so why are you staying? Well, while I'm in this world I have to correct myself, but he right here in the beginning that if you're wrong in the beginning that's it. No, probably not so. When does what he right? When is what he you are serious, and when is it just a spilling ink? No, such a thing has never happened, but that's what you're saying. He writes the opposite. If you're wrong once, doesn't matter how you go, you'll never get to the king's palace in such a way as he did. He cannot reach the king's palace adhesion with the Creator, but later he explains how, yes, to go in order to not feel that's it. But what's the advice if you're already deviating there? Advice, the advice is to keep the straight line all the time, but you've already deviated. You're keeping the straight track, but you already deviated. You went off track. No, this is what he writes in the beginning, that it doesn't matter how far you go, you'll never get there if you came off of the correct. Oh, yes, but you need to constantly watch yourself to being on the correct line, on a straight line, but you're already deviating. You're keeping the straight line, but you're on their side. No, that's not the situation. The situation is that I am on the way and I want to go on it on the straight line, so I am assured that I will reach adhesion with a Creator, and then I try to constantly be on the straight line that's called Israel. The light and the Creator are one, where all these three parameters, Israel, the light, and the Creator, will be as one. And then we come to the Creator. If one of them to some extent gets corrupted, then I'm already deviating from the path. How do you find out that you've deviated? Yes, what do you, how do you know that you've went off track? You hold on to Israel, the light, and the Creator. What does that mean? It means that I don't long anymore for Israel or for the Creator or for the Torah, any one of them more than the other, but rather I want to unify all three of them together, and then my way will be a straight path. In the it says that the land of Israel is bought with suffering. Yes. So the suffering are these deviations. What are the yes, great. So now you've deviated. You're in a false suffering trouble. If you continue, you will still not get to what you said. Of course, I need to see that I have deviated from the path, and to try to rise from it, to return to the straight and narrow line. He says he can't do what you just said. You can't get back to the straight line. That's called to repent. Yes, everyone HS. There's no righteous in the land who has done good and has not sinned. When is it a fall, and when is it a defeat from which you don't get back? 1,000 times a righteous will fall and rise again. 1,000 times a righteous will fall and rise again, meaning it can't be that someone comes and has everything, but rather if you were to know the way, you would see that he can bring you examples where errors and mistakes, and far more than you, anyone who's greater than his friend, his inclination is greater than him. Yes, so is there a test that I'm not deviating? Now he gives an answer in the letter. What does he say? If Israel, the light, and the Creator are one, they're connected in you. S1, then your direct is correct. Make a step forward. Did you do it? Now again check. Israel, the light, and the Creator are one. No, then where is it? Yes, and you precisely turn yourself to what direction? You need more critique, more connection, and that's how you advance. Are these practical things you're saying? They're practical as much as like here in a steering wheel. Really is the Creator, is it? Scrutinized in the group. Yes, as you're at the steering wheel, that's how you need to behave. Israel is you. Yes, the light is all that you have as far as the path. Yes, and the crater is where you need to reach the goal. The goal is to be blinded by the hole, or to look at the way you've been through. No, the goal is to adhere to the crater, because adhesion to the crater kills you, corrects you, and solves all your problems, and everything becomes like daylight. Then you to continue in continuation to what you said. A person makes the creator. The Torah is the T and the creator are one, and then he checks himself and takes a step forward. I always noticed that this examination comes after I take a step forward, yes, but that's to make the next step. So once I've made that check and I made a decision, how do I take a step forward without deviating? By Israel, the Torah and the creator are one. I'm not succeeding. It's like the next step comes immediately. That create sense every disturbance in the world, all the deviations, and I fall. There's always a deviation, and then you have to get back, straighten up again, and you're deviating, and you straighten up again. Okay, so how do you go straight? That's called straight. That's called to go straight, where each time you see yourself deviated, you stop, you identify where the north is, so to speak, and continue a few more feet or a few more meters, yes, any more. So how do I really advance correctly? Okay, so there was a deviation. Now we repented, so now how do I maintain the straight line without deviating? These deviations are painful because you're after the correction now of the first step. Connect with him, and with him make the next step and see what is revealed. Continue for a minute. Yes, in my vessels I always discover more evil inclination, more passion, more lust, more will to receive more. Everything that is called that, it's the next step. So how do I not fall into it, deviate, and be lost again? How do I maintain that thin line straight? Try with prayer, and you'll receive additional forces every step you want to make. There's both judgment and mercy, and you must try and come to a straight line. Well, it always be between judgment and mercy, always. No, you can't sit on a flying carpet. You can't. Thank you very much. To continue questions, he says, if a person deviates, even as a hair is bred, even if in the beginning the deviation is his, even if afterwards he goes on a completely straight line, he will no longer come to the king's palace. So, if I understand what you explain to you now, it means that a person should simply stop and say, okay, now I've gone off track, I'm starting over from the beginning. Not from the beginning. He finished the step, he corrected himself, he took a step forward. Now he has no problem to once more a big and new beginning, but he was deviating like a hair's breadth, and he says even if he continues straight, he will not get to the king's palace. So he did something, he realized that it was the wrong action, so he has to stop. Okay, so I have to check again, where am I, where's the way, what should I do? Yes, from where does the strength to criticize myself come? Because there's an laziness kind of to not to say that I'm wrong, but I'm just going full speed ahead. From where you get the strength to stop and criticize yourself and check, has he attained the goal? No. So well then, so what does he have to do? But you need the strength to criticize yourself to see if you've attained the goal or not. He has but two opportunities here, either to stop, surrender, and simply be done with it, or to move forward and ask the Creator for the forces, for the help. There's no more than those two, but you need some strength to come and give you the criticism and tell you, okay, you're not in the right place now. You have to do something else, not different, just continue what he used to do now. He is doing the correct step, he received help from above, it corrected him, and then now he needs to continue. True, so again I'm asking, he says, even if he leans like a hair's breadth, even if he goes completely straight, afterwards he will not get to the king's palace. So, what is this straight? Yes, straight according to his feeling, but at some point when he deviated again. Now he feels like he's going straight, but he will not get there, 'cause he's wrong. Yes, from where does a criticism come that tells him, hey, you're going off track, you're not in the right place because he knows he has done so. The Creator awakens him. It's not erased if I made a deviation from the path, let's say to the right or to the left, a few feet, and I continue then of course it needs to be revealed that I am not aimed to the goal, is simply revealed from the path. Yes, no person cannot do it. Here can it be said that it's revealed through his relation to the tent? It could be there are many ways to the place to the Creator in the same direction. How does a person check if he went off track or not? What's the judge in a person that can make a real decision if he deviated or not according to one's inner feeling, where he wants to be adhered to the Creator and discovers that there isn't, that he's not in the surroundings of the Creator? And what is it? Is it like a spark of truth that went into the person by scrutinizing how in this piece of will to receive there's a scrutiny that you feel is correct, that you really went off, gone off track? How is it different from any from other egoistic behaviors? From what does it come this possibility to calculate truthfully and to realize it I really have gone off track comes to him. The Creator sends everything comes from the Creator, and what guards a person from not making the real calculation and really going off track? The root of their soul, the root of the soul. It's the intention of the Creator upon him from the point where he created him, and how to deal with self-preservation force you understand that you're off track, but there's a force that keeps you in being on that wrong path. You tell yourself stories and you then he's still we in the beginning of the path. Truly then you are still as our real beginner. Another question about the 10. When a person feels, if I understand correctly, deviation is also disconnection from the 10. That can also be so. How in that state do you reconnect with them and you don't fall into self-justification and blaming them and that's in the hands of the Creator, in the hands of above? If it's so much, it could be that it's so much so that if he justifies with himself you can't argue with him, and then he deviates from the path and you can't bring him back. And if you see that a friend is in such a state, how can you help him? He doesn't see it, but you see it from the side. Help him as much as you can in all kinds of ways, but in truth it could be that he leaves for a few years the best. Yes, deviation from the path, is it a result of correct work before or a result of negligence? No, it's in the hands of the Creator as he wants you to deviate from the best. So it's not like I didn't work before. Correcting could be that you did, and it could be that you didn't. Usually it all needs to be attributed to the Creator. How do I prepare myself for the next deviation that will come from the Creator? What can guarantee that I will not deviate, or maybe I shouldn't make that calculation about future deviations? You can say many things what to do, but eventually it is all what comes from above. The Creator is the one who makes me deviate. He makes me repent. He does everything. So what does he want from me? Here, what does he want from you? He wants you to feel all these changes that he's bringing upon you, and for you to see what state you would like to be, and to try, even though you won't succeed, to go through these stages. I have to blame myself for not succeeding, that I've deviated, that where's my responsibility? Here the responsibility is actually, we can even attribute it to ourselves, but with that we don't see it. We don't see the Creator spins a person in such a way that he can't see that it depends on him. It sees that that's how it's happening. Final question: do I have to attribute to myself something, that I'm wrong, that I did something wrong? Probably. Why you have to say about everything that happens? Look at what the Creator did and go to the craftsman who made me. You understand, at the end of the day we see that we had an opportunity in each and everything, and we didn't make the most of it. We didn't realize it. There's the work of a person with the society to see how much he relates to the friends, how much he likes them, doesn't like them, and then his relation to the Creator, where my thoughts, how to what extent am I aiming for the Creator, and all that. That's the Torah that we learn. Now why said that to is brought through his suffering. When I look at myself, where I am in relation to the Creator, I Look at the 10 commandments I'm saying. I'm fine there, but there are so many other commandments. And I think we're going kind of roundabout, going around in circles. We can't really kind of restrain our beast, even just putting wearing fine eye. See that I'm succeeding or not. Succeeding only this society can force me to come a little closer, because my beast will constantly run away, it'll feel sorry for itself, etc. So we have to ask ourselves where we are during the day, because when I'm not with the society or in the lesson, I see that I'm a total beast. I eat, I don't say grace, etc. We have 365 commandments, so maybe there we have to check where we can add more restraints or limitations. There may be. I don't know. No, just yes. Can a person in principle not take on himself, not be certain that he's right on the right path, but always be in doubt? Not you be overconfident. Can this be the right direction to relate to it? Yes. How can we maintain this line and not fall from it? Not the fall is an ideal state. I don't know how to do that. You cannot not fall, constantly be inside the society and be connected with them. And we need to understand that all these deviations, we receive them from above, that it's the Creator that wants to deviate us, and we overcome, and see how you can overcome this, and how we can bring ourselves back and bring us back to the place, that the correct place, and to advance that way. Can no d that. Yes, I want to connect all of this to work in the 10 we said before, that Israel find correctly is a person in the T who is incorporated and accumulates some level of coes, so he can receive. Okay, I'll ask, what is Israel, and what in the 10 how do you attain it? That we are all connected together, 10 friends, and discover between us and the connection between us the correct form that we need to reach, and we're truly stretching out a straight line from our current state to that state, and whoever joins this line, actually our whole T. Yes, so we are called Israel. So Israel is inclination in a person in the T, or is it the incorporation of all the friends in the T again to attain the Creator? Yes, now depicting the Creator in the tan is, as we often say, it's the inclusive, it's the inclusion of our connection. Yes, doing what we have to do, which is called love your forness, yourself, everything we learn from, etc. That's the Torah we have to observe in order to attain this connection to the Creator. Well, that's already the Torah is the ideal correction. What is the Torah in the T? Yes, these are the mitzvot that we need to observe, which are the actual corrections of our vessels. You're right. Again, computation. What does it mean to deviate? As a hair is brie in, what is my deviation from the path? It could be the smallest of deviations. If we have AD on that step, then that deviation is already in our progress and is with us. What deviation can there be a friend doesn't see on the deviation? Can you give an example of a deviation? I don't know. What does the Creator check before he sends the deviation from the path? What is the Creator's purpose in making the friend deviate as much as we can be reinforced between us to identify their deviations and correct them? He one is asking about that. How can we as a society envelop each other in great love and bring all of us back to the Creator? It's possible. Together. M1 we teach we mustn't criticize ourselves like a fool who sits and consumes his own flesh. How do we not fall into self-criticism yet appreciate the deviations properly? Just hold ourselves together. How do we begin the walk on the path when it seems like I haven't even begun? Our dreading it connect between us, reach unification, and continue from that point of unity a little bit more forward. Each of us needs to make a step more forward, and then the whole 10 will advance from Turkey 5. About the 10 is their cause and consequence, reason to the root between the root of my soul and the root of roots of the souls of all my friends in the T. Yes, well, we don't know. At some point we will discover it. Another question from Turkey 5. It says that the soul must raise its level 620 or 320 times 620 times what grows in the soul. Usually the M grows, and under the screen is the will to receive. Already? Okay, wonderful. Yes, in the third paragraph from the say, those who walk on the real line in the preparation for the work of the Creator must always check himself if he earns. For these three are discernments equally, and also says if he doesn't check and prefers one to the other, and he's deviating from the path of truth, and immediately afterwards he says, so you better grip onto the goal and yearn for the commandment of the upper one. So that's only the second out of the third. So why does it say that we have to check all three equally? And then he says, just hold on to the Torah, we will advance, and see, we will advance, and see, I don't know. I can say about it that then we will know that the Torah is the main thing. So what's the meaning of checking the all three? Because by that you're aimed exactly to the purpose of creation. Another question about the straight line. I remember you gave a beautiful example of a cruise missile. Once you said a cruise missile advances to the goal precisely by going in zigzag. You can't go straight, there needs to be a difference between the goal and in the track. It sounds like that's our way to advance, cause if there's no gap then there's no measurement. But with us there are 10 different people each who moves just a little bit by that he already gives her a he moves or shakes the general. Can you explain it? I didn't understand the example. We need to locate the goal to the extent in which it is similar to each person, and then we will know how to come closer. But I don't know and can't know how the friends see the goal line. Know what I'm depicting. We know we'll know it's too early still. All right, what do? Is there something else? There are more questions if you want no, so we'll move to the next part. Yes, what is it? Rush. What the title of the article is 3 lines, also rush 3 lines, rush 3 lines. Yes, so we'll move to the next part of the lesson. Before that we'll sing a song together. La. All right friends, so we're going to continue together now with our social time. We received so much from about 2 hours with Ra about letter 17 from. Let's begin with the main points that we heard from Ra, from the letter, and from our friends. Let's enter into a summary. In the 10, please, the 10 is the only means that keeps us from deviating as a head's breadth from the path. If we adhere to the 10 and follow the 10 in the advice of Kabbalists, we will always correct every deviation and return to the right track. Directly to Adian with the Creator, we see that you can deviate very simply, and even from the beginning, or at any stage you can deviate, and the only thing that we have right now that straightens us is the 10. It's the friends, the Raf, their books. That's our direction. If we hold tight to that, then our correction of the deviation will happen each time. But we also understand that deviation is part of the straight path, and precisely this way person gets discernments, understandings what is the right way and where he is advancing, and the advancement is a place where we seemingly have no grip on. So it's through the deviations that we can find the right direction to the goal. In words, how a person with all the patience scrutinizes what is the right way. That's a good question. It is said that it mainly depends on the environment and on the mutual help he gets from the people around him. Yes, I really love the H of the needle to be actually the place where you can go into work, which is the main thing from on our behalf, that we have to do what's upon us to do, and these are the rules of building the CLE, which is to unite all our longings that each of us has, and despite them being wrapped with many more forms that are not connected to it, we specifically want to greatly appreciate this our inclination towards being in ball with the Creator, and to constantly ask for it to stand out, be felt, and be more important to the friend above all the confusions of the will to receive that we're meant to strengthen it. Yes, we have spiritual inclinations in us in different ways. The Creator gave each one his own forms according to his qualities, and we just have to yearn to adhere to the Creator, to want to be in contact with Him and to try to use all the means that were given in order to be in this connection. The important thing is not to stop searching for the connection with Him. Israel, the light Israel, and the Creator are one. They need to connect together and will be led to the go. What else was there that I loved? The Creator brings a person to a desire to come to the King. Callous, and then a person I never remember. Thing I hear, I usually listen to the focus group. It all comes back when you listen to them. It's like hearing the L again. Know how to hear the truth, but the main thing is the vessel, and to keep ourselves from deviating from mistakes. Bon gave us a solution: sit and do nothing better, that those who don't do anything never go wrong. Person's eye is that will to receive that was created, and he needs to perform corrections in order to reach the root of his soul. Very powerful lesson in the end. The point I'm taking is that we must always cling to theirs, none else besides. Whatever happens to a person, you always have to turn through it. You can repent. It's really interesting that we read this letter quite a few times, and it's like the same people are asking the same questions throughout the years. It also shows us a specific thing, that this scrutiny is endless. It's all the time. It's like we're reading it and we're trying together to open it. There's a very, very deep scrutiny today that was very powerful that we didn't hear for a long time. Yes, and maybe toward the end he writes about having to yearn for the work, and it reminds me of what Boff says, that how does a person know what to decide? He has to decide that he's increasing in labor. So that's the matter of the meaning of the toe. It's the path of correction, which is simply labor and more labor, and the exertion is to build and unify the CLE and it's with its broken parts, and the Torah is the means that connects us and brings us to receive this force, this light. That our longing is not sufficient, but we need the means that will operate upon us and connect us, and then we will be able to discover that there are such relations of love and bestow between us. You must always pay attention to the fact to you must always see that we are in these advice of the Celestials, that we don't veer off from them, because if it's a slight deviation, then we get up farther and farther from the goal. We always have these principles that the Callist have given us. The road is always a very narrow bridge, and we have to stick with these principles: how to exert correctly, how to work correctly, and mainly it is through the society. If we adhere to the society more and more, we will know how to work correctly. It appears like Israel, the Tan, and the Creator is only possible to get to with this environment, with the where you're constantly reminded that you have to achieve the goal, an environment that uses all the principles to attain the goal. And if you're in such an environment, and you'll be able to connect these three factors to one and continue from one degree to the next. Right, the environment is very supportive of each one. It doesn't let us deviate from the path, and this is why we have the tend to learn how to advance on this path, to always be together and come closer to their Creator. Bam also writes from the beginning that a person has to deviate, seemingly, but if he continues on that same line, he distances more and more, and that's why the wisdom of Cam is really practical. Each time it gives another direction. Today we're longing to above reason, tomorrow will be an annulment. It's the most precious and something else and connection, so we seemingly start a new page and move forward. Israel being the sum of our yearnings, that we connect into one yearning. At the center of the 10, the T is a reforming light, or he calls it the secrets of the Torah, or the commandments of the Upper one of his master, and the Creator is the Creator also through the light of the T. We have to adhere to the Creator and we have to come to a state where everything is one. He has to always come to a state where everything is one. We want to continue and go deeper into the letter. Let's read an excerpt from it. It follows that you have three discernments. 1. Israel, it's the one who exerts to return to its root, to the Creator, which is the root to which he earns. 3. The 613 ways of the Torah by which One purifies one's soul and body. This is the spice, as it is written. I have created evil inclination, I have created for it the toe as a spice. However, these three are actually one and the same in the end. Any servant of the Creator attains them as one unique and unified discernment, and they only appear to be divided into three because of one's incompleteness in the work of the Creator. So our workshop question is, how can we unite is the Torah and the Creator so that they are one as one? How can we unite Israel, the Torah, and the Creator so that they are as one? Workshop: only by the 10 we can do it. Only in that environment that a person's in. Without the environment, a person is like a beast, and only by the friends who remind him, support him, push him, pressure him, that takes a person out of his place. As we say, yet we talked about it already, and we saw in history that there's no such thing as a person sitting alone and suddenly achieving spiritual attainment. Incorporation in the 10. Out of this greenhouse, out of this womb, each one grows in his own direction out of this, and he grows by bestowing upon his friends. In the end, these are vessels that are established in us where the light enters, and they're discovered as one. So the whole building process is where we go through many states, but everything is eventually established by the light, and the person comes to a feeling, to knowledge, like he wrote here about the value of knowing it, which is the spiritual vessel. In practice, he writes that there are vessels of hear verses of perception, that are ways that hears advice, and you have the names of their Creator that are filled within these tips, counsels, these ways. So we're talking about very, very high degrees is on the Creator is already states of the second phase of their correction. Also Rash writes a lot about it, what it means to know the midline, the names of the to the names of the Creator. To know the names of the Creator, we have to prepare the vessels that will be suitable, so these names enter them. Okay, the yes in the end, what I understood here is that to do the mitivi, do the hour exertion, and all that the syst show us, there's always in us more tendencies to this way or that way. It could be that in one person, it could be that each time it's a greater inclination revealed in him for Israel, or for the Torah and the secret of the Torah, or to come closer to the Creator. Everything is important, and they all truly need to be our SW, and we need to engage in all of them, and mostly follow what the systs kind of pay for us each time. Now they explain to us to go in a society how to do it through the society, and just like SH mentioned earlier, we have to increase and intensify our exertion. That's always correct. Yeah, connect the three elements into one, something only the reforming light can do. That's the TOA that we received. All the libra we do is to draw the light until we come to unite all those three elements. Yes, that's why the Creator awakens a person and gives him the desire to come close and reach the goal. And then, with the help of the friends, with the help of the 10, I can bind all these things, three things together as one, and get the that's the of the wisdom of it's clo in matter, it's a philosophy, so it's already connected. There's a person who constantly scrutinizes what is the goal, there's the means, which is connection, and then this way through experiments and exercises we advance. We have the means, we have the light. So how does everything become one? In the 10, where we all yearn together, we draw the light of the Torah, which expands in the 10 between us. The light of the Torah corrects the will to receive, gives it their intention, and all of us together adhere to the root as we're all being corrected, and discover the Creator with the help of the light of the Torah and the corrections he does upon us. We reach the root, to the root of the Torah. In addition, we have to increase our prayer, do more prayers. See, read it several times, that we always have to come to this prayer from the bottom of the heart, the bottom of the heart of the 10, and from there we leave no possibility for the Creator not to answer to our connection, Israel, and the Torah being our study. So there's no way for the Creator not to answer it. Afterwards, what else can be added? Besides the prayer and request like J said when we all ask together, and the Creator must answer many times his reply is in bestone, and then we feel it in the opposite form or in or another way. Well, I guess we need to ask more, and the process we're going through in the end is to discover that do N besides him and building our vessel, and the revelation in the end comes one where we discover one reality which currently is filled with separate parts. That's all of the spiritual reality, which is about time and place, and it's revealed in one place what to add, how to unify Israel to the Creator. One, I think it's mostly by the Torah, the commandments of the Torah, the studies. That's why our entire foundation on the path is actually the morning lesson, where we receive the power, the largest response, which aims our inner thoughts and feelings things to forms of best, somewhat to come closer to this feeling, this thought, and the more we throughout the day try, will come with a greater need to the next lesson, which operates upon us and actually in accordance with this desire. And this desire is not just a personal desire, but actually a common desire, where we do this work throughout the day, remind each other during the day that all our work is to come to the morning lesson with a deficiency for connection. Then this effect of study operates upon us more. I think the structure where we want to build our tent, how we come to the lesson, what we do during the day, and all of our gatherings are all realizations of those three parts. It's all together the revelation of the Creator, the root of the soul of each one. All our meetings are round the sources, and each of us here feels his personal work. All our work is always in order to reveal the Creator. Everything we do involves these parts, so we should feel that they're always together. Everything together is a complete spiritual work. I don't know what else to add, but we also have to remember that all these things only the Creator can help us with, and we need to pray and ask the Creator to help us do this exertion, this work, where we can draw the light and always demand, ask, be connected with him each and every opportunity, because only in this connection with the Creator we'll be able to draw the light. So all that's left is to say thank you for having Kabbalists, for having such an environment for learning these things, how to connect them together, and with the help of the friends reach the goal before us. So thank you very much. The words of the Rob. We're going to conclude our workshop with Rob's words. I'm on the path, and I want to go on it in a straight line, so I am assured that I will reach a teaching with the Creator. That's it. Then I try to constantly be on the straight line, and that is called Israel. The Torah and the Creator are one, where each of these three parameters, Israel, the Torah, and the Creator, will be as one, and then I reach the Creator. If one of them to some extent is corrupted, then I'm ready spinning, then I'm already deviating from the path. So before we conclude, we will want to update about a new move that started now in the Israeli Cleon. Please, hello friends, this really is something new that hasn't happened since the era of pandemic started in the world. The beginning of COVID, at least in the Israeli clay, was a transition, because we went from a completely physical world into a completely virtual world. So yesterday we came back with a message that we want to reconvene on the physical level. We went to the first group, the group we met them in SH&M's house by saying we went out, I mean the management of the organization, and we talked and listened to other great friends from about the needs, ideas for dissemination, ideas to get together again. We're not talking about rebuilding other the centers, we're talking about how to get together between us and to absorb and welcome the points in the heart that live in our area, also about how to disseminate the wisdom of Kabbalah and in general ideas that we hear here every day, and also how to start physical campuses where we are. So that was the first time. Also, it's very important for us that in every group they will hear Mitch, the CEO of our Organisation will tell us about the vision, the direction we're going for. He'll be able to ask questions. It's kind of a meeting that's not broadcast. It's more intimate. With good food and music, and it's a personal meeting where we go from group to group, from area to area.